Welcome back, everyone, as we give you a live look right now. Air Force One has just touched down just about 30 seconds ago right there. President Trump, this is his second visit to Phoenix as the second term of his presidency. And he is here for his Build the Red Wall rally that's happening at Dream City Church in Phoenix. He was expected to speak at about 2 o'clock this afternoon, but obviously running a little bit behind, roughly about a half hour behind. But again, he'll probably speak by the time he gets there, roughly around 2:30, we are estimating right now. So again, President Trump arriving right now on Air Force One, a live look at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. Joining me right now is 12 News political analyst Bram Resnick. Bram, tell us the importance of this rally, the Build the Red Wall rally.
Well, on the one hand, it's important to President Trump because we might hear some news today from the president about a possible peace deal in Iran. Big news geopolitically, obviously, but also big news politically for the midterm elections. And that's why President Trump is here. He's here to gin up excitement for Republican candidates in the midterm elections here in Arizona. Big targets for Republicans are the three top statewide office: governor, Secretary of State, Attorney General. You're going to hear a lot of excitement about that. But again, what I'm listening more closely for is what the president has to say about Iran, because gas prices, $5 a gallon here in Phoenix, affordability, other issues, the up and down stock market, all those creating anxiety among voters that right now have put President Trump's approval ratings way down. Not quite the toilet, but they're way down right now, as early voting starts in Arizona in just 2 months. Again, just the midterms, the primary, but there's a lot on the line right now. The other thing that's interesting is Turning Point has, in effect, become the Republican Party. They hold these kind of events. These events would usually be hosted by the Republican Party. Turning Point has the clout right now to pick candidates. They're got behind Andy Biggs for governor. Andy Biggs is the Trump-supported candidate for governor. They have a lot of clout in choosing candidates and a lot of clout on the ground when it comes to getting out the vote. Something to watch. They've suffered some serious blows of late. Of course, the most serious and grievous, the death of Charlie Kirk. There are questions about how far this organization can go without a Charlie Kirk at the helm. You'd expect Charlie to be on stage there today. Sadly, he won't be. That's big. The recent SRP elections may have revealed some Turning Point weaknesses in miscalculating how those elections might go. So a lot in the line. Bottom line here today, it's a big, big event for the midterms, teeing up the Republican candidates, the Republican base, and also perhaps announcing some big news about what's happening in Iran, and hopefully, we all hope, peace, a ceasefire, a durable ceasefire.
You talk about, obviously, teeing up the candidates for the midterm elections. We've got a number of speakers who will be speaking at Dream City Church. That's near Cave Creek Road and Sweetwater Avenue. You mentioned Representative Andy Biggs. He is running for governor. Eli Crane, Representative Abe Hamadeh, Paul Gosar, Juan Ciscomani, who is running for re-election. You talk about how Turning Point has really become a main focal point in, pushing for these candidates behind the Republican Party. We know that they've hired hundreds of staff here in Arizona this winter for ballot chasers, managers, interns to just get ahead of the 2026 midterms. But what was interesting of, this lineup of speakers is that David Schweikert, who is also running for Arizona governor, he is not there. Why not?
So let's talk about the Republican primary for governor. You ask about David Schweikert. David Schweikert, 8-term congressman now, I think. He's been in office for quite a while.
Right.
He has never been close to Trump. He is not a MAGA Republican, not even close. You will not hear him mention the name Trump very often. And furthermore, as I said earlier, Andy Biggs has the Trump endorsement. Pro-Trump crowd. David Schweikert would not do well in here. Further evidence of that, a poll that just came out yesterday showing Andy Biggs has a virtually insurmountable lead in the primary for governor on the Republican side, more than about 52% of the vote in that poll. David Schweikert was in the low double digits. David Schweikert did not even win his district in that poll. Andy Biggs was first, undecided was second, David Schweikert was third. That tells you, with about 2 months to go till early voting starts in the primary, Andy Biggs is the prohibitive favorite by a long shot. I also want to point out two other folks who are there today, worth noting. Congressman Juan Ciscomani and Jay Feely, former Cardinals kicker, who wants to represent the 1st Congressional District, which David Schweikert is vacating. Those are two of the most important swing districts in the country when it comes to deciding which party is going to control Congress. Very interesting that they're there today, tying themselves so closely to Donald Trump, because the Trump effect might not work this time around. Might not work this time around in this midterm election, because Donald Trump's approval ratings are so low, near historic lows, has not done what he said he would do when it comes to issues like affordability. And furthermore, you see a Republican base that is divided, sharply divided, in particular over the war in Iran. And so lots of variables in play there, but those are swing districts. Trump narrowly won CD 1 back in 24. So that's an interesting choice by Ciscomani and Feely in particular, that they believe they have to be there. Feely is endorsed by Trump. I'm not sure Ciscomani is. He's an incumbent, so the endorsement wouldn't necessarily matter, but Feely is endorsed by Trump.
Well, we want to point out right now, again, Air Force One just landing a couple of minutes ago, and President Trump about ready to get off the plane right there. And once he does, he will be headed to Dream City Church. Speaking of Dream City Church in Phoenix, down at the bottom right corner of your screen right there, we are showing you a live look at what is happening inside. Thousands of people have packed that church. Our Sean Rice is there, and he said, I don't know, I think at least 3,000.
The capacity is 3,000. I was there for the infamous COVID event in June of 2020,
right?
When COVID was at a peak here in Arizona, and Donald Trump showed up for a rally, a campaign rally there at Dream City.
Well, obviously, a lot of people who got in line to get inside for today's event, they got in before the sun even came up. Very excited to see the president. Obviously, you can see right there his motorcade as it is expected to President Trump is expected to come down those stairs really just any minute right now. I can't quite make out, though, who is speaking at Dream City Church.
Well, I think that's Andy Biggs.
Andy
Biggs, candidate for governor.
That's what I thought. It's really small right now. But again, he is taking the stage at Dream City Church, and President Trump, any minute now, is about to get off of Air Force One right now. And he will be speaking, of course, the keynote speaker, roughly at around 2:30, along with Erica Kirk, wife of Charlie Kirk, who, as many of you know by now, was assassinated back in September at a Utah College event. So again, this is President Trump's second time here in Phoenix as he is in his second term. Phoenix, of course, Arizona, a very popular state for him. This whole Build the Red Wall rally, when you talk about the Red Wall states, it's Arizona, New Hampshire, and Nevada, generally purple states, but obviously very key for him to turn red.
This must be at least his 20th visit to Arizona since 2015, when he announced his candidacy for the first time. Arizona was his second campaign stop in 2015. This has been a very welcoming place for Donald Trump. A lot of support here. He won in 2016, lost in 2020, claims that election in Arizona was rigged. There's no evidence to support that. And won in 24, a fairly decisive victory over Kamala Harris by 5 points. So very welcoming state. Dream City, a very welcoming church. They do have a sort of educational affiliation with Turning Point USA, and also a religious affiliation with Turning Point USA. Turning Point does hold some kind of faith nights at Dream City Church. It's become their home. It's also become a second home for the Republican Party itself. They hold their annual meetings there at Dream City. The president flying in from Las Vegas. And we do expect this to be a mix of local politics, state politics, and perhaps even international politics when he does take the stage.
Yeah, I was going to ask, again, given the climate of where we are now, of course, many people concerned about the economy, concerned about affordability. We've got the war in Iran. People are paying really high gas prices right now. Of course, those are really big issues that are very important to people. Given that backdrop and, despite his approval ratings that are very low right now, what do you think he will say to this crowd?
As we know, Donald Trump, when he gets wound up, he says a lot of things. And it's not necessarily the most connected speech. I do expect he will allude to a possible Iran peace deal, which will be, many people are going to support that no matter your party. But I expect in that room it'll be a big crowd pleaser. As I said earlier, the Iran war has been very divisive among the Republican base. Expect that. Expect him to probably take shots at Ruben Gallego, Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego, who's been in the news this week for his what happened to his best friend, former Congressman Eric Swalwell, having to resign from Congress after reports of predatory sexual behavior. So Ruben Gallego will be a target. Katie Hobbs will be a target. Some others perhaps as well. Katie Hobbs is a favorite among Republicans right now. They want that governor's seat back. And just to add something to that, let's not forget, in 2028, the governor, Secretary of State, and Attorney General will have to certify the election results in the presidential election. Mm-hmm. And I am sure Republicans want all those slots, not only for that purpose, but that's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Once again, it's been a longer than what we had expected for the president to deboard the plane right there. Obviously, the press anxiously waiting for him. Motorcade is ready. Once he gets off Air Force One, he will be taken directly to Dream City Church. Again, that's located near Cave Creek Road and Sweetwater Avenue. That's in Phoenix. Of course, no stranger to that church that he has spoken to before in the past. And from there, he will probably speak roughly, we're thinking about a half hour or so, Bram.
You just don't know.
Oh, you just
I mean,
don't
he's
know.
gone 90 minutes.
True.
He has gone 90 minutes.
According to the itinerary, it's about roughly a half hour.
I don't think that's going to happen. One thing I want to point out, you saw that large press gaggle there. He could step off the plane, walk right over to them, and make some news on the tarmac at Sky Harbor talking to the gaggle. So this is a message to our producers and folks upstairs. Keep an eye on that in case he does walk over to the gaggle.